fundamentally, another reason that what I like doing them and I find them so engaging is because you're focusing on one core thing, one singular thing. And the more things you add in, the more complex it gets, the more confusing your message gets. So for anyone listening, you just need to keep it simple and don't think because you're focusing on one single thing that you can't do any of the other things, because if you gain that attention from somebody from that one singular thing, they'll find out the rest about you. My name is Peter Sumpton, and you're listening to the Marketing Study Lab podcast, the podcast that gives you actionable marketing knowledge, getting you and your marketing in the best possible shape to be the driving force of your business for long-term success. From strategy and tactics to practical application, we've got it all covered. If you'd like to support the show, it'd be fantastic if you could leave a 5-star Apple Podcast review or get in touch, especially if you have a burning marketing question. I'd love to chat it through with you. Email me, peter@marketingstudylab.co.uk. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. There's a link in the show notes if you can't be bothered searching on LinkedIn. So what are we going to learn, and who's on Marketing Study Lab today? Bit of a different episode for you today, as the actual guest is myself. Now, I'm not interviewing myself. I was kindly asked to go on Trisha Lewis's Make It Real podcast back in September this year. And I thought, being it's coming to the end of the year, it would be an opportune time to first of all say thank you, Trisha, for the invite onto the podcast, but also to share it with my listeners. It's my thoughts, my interpretation about keeping things simple, keeping it consistent in terms of your communication. Trisha is a communication coach, and in running the Make It Real podcast, she highlights a whole host of things about being a real person, growing your business, communicating with the right audience, things that I'm a huge advocate of. This was only episode 11, so I'm hugely honoured and proud to be part of this podcast at its very infancy, if that's even a word. Anyway, that's a lot of me talking. If you want to know more about Trisha Lewis, please visit her website, which is quite simply trishalewis.com. All the information in terms of how she can help you is on there. Before we get into this episode, I'd just like to say thank you so much for listening this year. It's been a fantastic year. I really appreciate every single listen, every single download. So if you want to send me an email, positives and negatives, because I'm always looking to improve, please do so. Contact details are in the show notes, or look me up on LinkedIn, Peter Sumpton. Simple as that. Secondly, I'd just like to thank all my guests that have given up their valuable time to pass on their information, not only to you, the listener, but to me as well. I've learned so much this year. Thank you so much. I mean, there's over 50 just this year, so I can't name you all, but from the very start to the very end of this year, bless you and thank you so much. Finally, I suppose we'd better get on with this episode. So, Trish, over to you.
Hello, Peter.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine. And I just want to warn all listeners that if there's a sudden really odd noise, it's because I'm in Bournemouth and we're in the middle of the Bournemouth Air Show at the moment. I mean, not literally. And so I am boiling hot because I've closed all my windows. But you know, the red arrows coming across our roof might just be picked up. So that's
now you're just bragging now because it's raining outside and I'm quite cold and all the windows are shut. Definitely, and the lights are on behind me. So you're just bragging now. Nice brag.
And there's a nice fireplace. We could light a fire up there. So this is Peter Sumpton of Marketing Study Lab, who's going to introduce himself in a minute. But I'm just a bit nosy, and I forgot to ask you, where are you actually based? Where are you?
So I'm based just outside Liverpool, one of the greatest cities
Yeah.
in the world.
I just wanted to give you that opportunity. That's fantastic. I've got to struggle not to try putting on any kind of northern accent during this interview. Please tell me to stop if it happens. I'm an actor. It's just a very natural thing that I do, and it's hideously rude. So, okay, Peter,
I won't
it's
take offence.
don't take offence. It's so good to talk to you. And rather than blabber on trying to introduce you, it would be much more sensible for you to introduce yourself.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Pleasure to be on with you today. Looking forward to this. It'll be a right giggle, I think. So, my backstory is really boring, unfortunately. So, sit down for half an hour and we'll go through it all. Yeah, so I've always been in marketing. I remember once in school flicking through a book, wondering what to do. Saw marketing, thought, oh, I wonder what that is. Looked into it, and then for some reason, the first thing I thought of was Cadbury's. Bit weird, but we can talk about that in a little bit more detail later on if you want. That and perfume remind me, because that's the two best examples of marketing you'll get and why it's important. But back to me. So chose to do marketing at university, got a degree, went on to do my professional qualification, became a chartered marketer, and then about 7 years ago became a tutor, had this opportunity to become a tutor, wanted to tutor people in terms of how to get marketing correct. Little did I know, I didn't really know a lot about marketing at that time, and still until I started doing that, and I'm still learning, and everybody should. So did tutoring for 7 years, which brings me to this day. So I'm the owner of Marketing Study Lab, like you kindly said. Thank you very much. And basically what I do is I provide services to people that are either studying or are quite confused about what marketing is, predominantly for professional qualifications, because I've been there, I've done that. I've had those struggles where you think marketing is just an advert or whatever you see on telly, and that is fundamentally not true. That is the tip of the iceberg. So I'm the guy that comes in and says, you're all wrong. Listen to me.
Oh, look, that's the red arrows. I love it. I love it. And the thing about Peter is, listeners, that you can find him in quite a few places. Well, obviously, if you go stalking him, you can find him in cafes, and But I'm really talking about online. He's got these lovely videos called Post-it. Do you call them Post-it videos?
So, yeah, sort of. I haven't done them for a while. Just been busy, but I want to get.
I put you under pressure now.
So it's called Post-it marketing, because Post-it marketing made simple, simply because that the acronym for that, if it's acronym right, is PIMPS.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, very, very, very much younger, if somebody said it was pimps, it meant it's easy. That's where the acronym comes in.
Which has no doubt brought a few questions and stories. Yeah. Okay, pimps. Not one I've ever come across in that definition.
No,
So.
but it's weird because I say it as an adult, knowing that I knew that as a child, and everybody says, "What's pimps?"
Yeah. It's sort of like easy peasy, lemon squeezy with some.
Absolutely, it probably came from somewhere like that. But it gives me two things when I say that. One, I get to tell them what an idiot I was when I was younger.
Good.
And two, I get to say, well, actually, it means post-it marketing.
Yeah, and that actually is a little tip right there, listeners. It's fine to come up with something which might have a slightly controversial double meaning or anything like that, because it does provide this lovely opportunity to talk about it. So, what I like about those, I'm now giving you total pressure because you've got to go out and make a whole load more now, is that you just sort of pop up. They're very, very short. They're a minute, aren't they?
Yes. So there's some theory behind that. It started off at about 30 seconds, but because I'm passionate about the subjects, they usually go on and on and on. And then I'm like, oh no, this won't fit on such and such. And I can't say 100% if it's correct now, but at the time you were allowed 30 seconds on Instagram. So they started off as 30 seconds, or I tried to get them under 30 seconds. So it was easy to post it on Instagram.
Yeah, that is blinking challenging. Do you know what? I just did a 30 second post. I think it was 30 seconds. And I got 1,000 views. So, I mean, that's, 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 I just did something today. I looked at it, I think, for God's sake, that's 7 minutes, Trisha. That's ridiculous. I think it is a glorious challenge to do this, because you're quite right. I think it might be a minute now on Instagram, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't swear by that either, but we can all check that out. But yeah, it is something really, really important to bear in mind. And actually, it's such a wonderful discipline, isn't it, to bring it down?
But I mean, so who's even got a minute these days? You know, who has? We flick through social like we're flicking through a deck of cards, doing a magic trick, and I suppose social is a bit like a magic trick. But the thing to remember is that you need to make it engaging. You need to make it specific to who you're targeting, and fundamentally, another reason that what I like doing them and I find them so engaging is because you're focusing on one core thing, one singular thing. And the more things you add in, the more complex it gets, the more confusing your message gets. So for anyone listening, you just need to keep it simple, and don't think because you're focusing on one single thing that you can't do any of the other things, because if you gain that attention from somebody from that one singular thing, they'll find out the rest about you. That's what you need to do.
I love that. No, that is a top tip, because it's something that I've been hideously bad at. Because I think there's a sort of mindset. It's a bit like, I don't know if you agree with this, Peter. It's a bit like if you're in a live networking situation and you're in that hideous round the table thing doing your 60 seconds, and especially when you first start growing your business, there's this thing of, oh my God, if I don't tell them everything I do, they'll think, oh, well, that's not much good, is it? She only does that. And of course, it's like the opposite, because you then lose them and they don't actually pick anything up. Whereas, as you say, if they engage, then they're going to engage and want to find out more.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing you've got to remember is on if we can class it as a customer journey now, because the journey or the channels that people find you on or they end up going through is that sporadic nowadays. There isn't such a thing as a customer journey really, but if we class it as that for now, if you think about the customer journey, there's multiple touch points, and I think Google say that it's either 9 or 12 touch points that people need with an organization before they even see you as credible. So don't think that this one thing is going to gain you massive notoriety, and plus don't think it's not going to make any impact. Because if you put something on Facebook, if you put something on LinkedIn, if you put something on Twitter, if you put something on your website, if you go on someone's podcast, if you put something in the local paper, if you're a local business, that's 6 or 7 touch points right there.
Yeah.
So if one person has seen those 6 or 7 touch points, you're in their lives 6 or 7 times, not just once.
Absolutely, and they begin to get to know you, and this is the thing why they don't want to see you turning up in one place as X persona, and then in another place, this coming from an actor, but you know what I mean, and then in another place as Y persona, and another place as B persona, because then you're only getting one touch point, because the other touch points aren't the same person in there. Yeah.
And that brings us on to something we call the integrated marketing. Mm-hmm. And essentially, to keep it massively simple, is that whatever you do, whatever comms channels you use, and whatever communication you use, be it content, be it copy, be it audio, be it visual, whatever it is, you need an underlying theme. So take the post-it marketing. I've just remembered it's post-it marketing made simple. That's the pimps. If you take that, it's if I become known for doing that, then I become known for the guy with the post-it note. I don't need a name. I don't need anything. Yeah. If somebody says post-it notes, they're going to think of me. So that's the whole idea. I'm not saying I'm there yet, far from it, but that's the idea behind things like that. And if people see post-its and me with post-its across various channels, or I create some kind of a creative, which is in a magazine, which has got a post-it note in it, they're going to know straight away it's me. It's exactly why people have logos and build a brand.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is awkward, isn't it? Because there's so many things we could talk about, Peter. This is a nightmare. Right, okay. I'm gonna try and get us on. Well, for a start, you are here on my podcast, which is a delight. But of course, you are way more experienced at podcasting than me, because you said you just published, or whatever the official word is, your 83rd episode. So what is your blog, is your podcast called the same thing?
So there's 83 in the bag. I think released, we're on 71. So I've got a fair bit of editing to do tonight, unfortunately. Or fortunately, because I love it. And so they're all based around, lo and behold, marketing. And they're all based about teaching people what the heck marketing is, the different disciplines in marketing, or also a bit further afield and asking people, superstars in their field, to come on and say, what do you do? Why have you done it so successfully? And what can we learn from this, either from a studying point of view or from a marketing point of view?
Yeah.
We've had a whole host of guests on it. It's not just a marketing manager, marketing assistant, CEO, whatever. It's about copywriting. It's about mental health. It's about podcasting. You know,
yes, yeah. And this is the way to. I think one of my favourite words is curiosity, to be honest. And I just think, that's for anyone out there listening, just please stay curious. And in fact, going back to those little videos that you do, you said you're quite a fan of analogies. I expect all of us get mixed up between simile, analogy and metaphor, but let's not get too geeky about it. But where, for instance, I think you were stood outside a borough market. That's right. You were in borough market and you made a point about, which for people outside London is just a hubbly bubbly, fabulous foodie sort of market in London. Lots of people with lots of stalls selling really good quality bread, cheese, you name it. And you made a point about something, and it was like an analogy, wasn't it? What's the point?
No, even I can't remember. That was over a year ago.
It was about variety and quality, wasn't it? It was something like that. Yeah,
I remember the underlying theme for that one was saying that you can get a whole host of things at Borough Market, food mainly, a lot of good food.
Yes,
and to stand out, they need to be the best of the best. And people aren't pitching up at Borough Market with substandard bread, substandard coffee. You go to a fruit and veg stall. That fruit and veg has got to be bloody delicious, because you're paying quite a premium for it, but they're paying a premium to be there because it's a historic place. It's over 100 years old, this market. So you've got to show your quality and provide that quality to be there. And I think that's what I was getting at. How can you be better than the rest so you can pitch up at Borough Market and say, this is why we're good. Come and try our produce.
Well, actually, you've just done a perfect link to another thing that I saw of yours, which was where it was another one of these short videos, and it was you were stood in front of your whiteboard having done a little drawing of a palm tree on an island, and it was an analogy which involved Love Island, I believe.
Yeah, massive fan of Love Island, love it, absolutely. No, I'm really,
bracket sarcasm close brackets.
Absolutely.
But that was great, because that's what you said right at the beginning. But the point is, you said it for what it is, and we've all got to accept the fact that it's very successful. Some people will be in love with it, some people hate it, whatever. But that's the point you were making. It polarizes opinion, and on that, for somebody, especially in those early first few years of growing your business, right? So you're trying to you're trying to tick so many boxes. You want clients, you want to make an income, you want to be different, but you also want to address a need that is actually out there. So there's no point in being too different. I don't know. Or will people accept this because it's not like they're used to, etc., etc., etc. So where do you get this balance between going out there in it's the whole niche and polarizing thing, right? Go for it. You've got 1 minute to answer that question. No, I'm joking. Go for it.
Simple. So there's a few things there, really. First of all, if you don't follow this guy, he's called Mark Ritson. He writes for Marketing Week, and he's quite garish in what he writes. He's not afraid to basically tell the truth. And he said that if he gets 50% of people saying this is great and 50% saying it is atrocious what you're saying, he's written it perfectly, because he knows that he won't be for everyone. And whoever's listening, their company won't be for everyone. But why do you care about those people that it isn't for? So, for example, take the Love Island thing. Now, they're not going after the people that, I mean, they might be, but they're not going after the people that watch Question Time, are they? They're going after the people.
They're actually, they've kind of merged.
Well, yeah. No,
but yeah, I know what you mean, though. Yeah. They're not going after people that watch Landscape Artist of the Year on Sky Arts.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even know that existed.
Yes,
Showing you some colours there, but what we're trying to say here is that you focus on your demographic, your target market, the people that want to know you, that need you, that they have a problem that you can fix. Okay, and with the Love Island analogy and with what Mark's saying is that they're perfect examples of people understanding their market and going, okay, we don't really care that these people over here don't like us and hate us. They're never going to like us. So why are we trying to get them to like us? The fact that they don't like us means that other people must. We're doing something right because we get X amount of viewers, right? Fantastic, brilliant. Focus on them because they are your target market. I don't know how many views it gets, probably millions, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's a mass media, so it's going to get millions unless they'd cut it and it's pushed to the millions to the nth degree. But there's a guy called Kevin Kelly, and the one thing he's a proponent of is 1,000 true fans. And what he says is that any business is sustainable if you get 1,000 true fans. And 1,000 might seem like a lot. And I'm not saying you get that overnight, far from it. But it doesn't take long to build up that core audience. And if you've got a core audience that's interested in what you've got to say, what you're telling them, and how you can help them solve their problems, then that is what you need to focus on. Don't worry about anything else. If you're solving people's problems, if you get one person that you're solving their problem, there'll be others out there. You just need to know where they are and the best ways to communicate with them.
Yeah, gosh, I know. And I mean, this is all really quite scary for everyone, really, in a way. And there is, and if this is your sole income and you've just sort of walked off the cliff edge without a parachute, thinking, oh, hang on a minute, I actually can't pay the mortgage now or the rent or whatever it is. I mean, is there a way of kind of, do you think people should be a little bit step by step when it comes to sometimes to setting up businesses? And
so we'd all love, and I mean love, to believe that there's an overnight success, but there isn't. There fundamentally isn't. You might get one in a million, a billion, whatever, and I think that the saying goes, it took me years to become an overnight success. And that's true, because people only see the tip of that iceberg. So what I would suggest to anybody that's out there that's sat at a desk, hates the job, doesn't like going in on a Monday morning, whatever it might be, is to focus on your passion. So what I'm not saying is jump ship and just do your passion. But let me ask you one question. Okay, you're going to say no to all these, but I know one program you do watch. So do you watch EastEnders?
No.
Okay.
I have watched it. I remember when Angie and Den were in it.
Okay, oh God.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Do you watch the news?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So say you watch the news for half an hour a night. Okay. Yeah. That might be massively important to you, but you can consume the news in other ways. But if you were that frustrated and annoyed that either one, you weren't getting the income you wanted, or two, you weren't doing what you were passionate about, you take that half an hour a day, you times it by 5, you've got 2.5 hours. And that's just one tiny thing I've mentioned. You've got 2.5 hours where you can focus on your passion. You don't have to make money straight away. If you've got a regular income, do that. If you haven't, then it's slightly different. You need to put yourself out there more. But if you're solving people's problems, if you know, well, sorry, first and foremost, are you solving people's problems? Have you got something that solves something for
Mm-hmm.
somebody? And if you have, the next step is to work out where those people are. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Wherever they are. And that is your channel of communication. The
Mm-hmm.
final thing is, what do they want to hear? Do they want hints and tips? Do they want you to tell it like it is? Do they want inspirational quotes that we all see? Christ, I hope not. But, you need to work those things out. And
Yes.
when you do that,
Yes.
don't go and sell. Be as a top bloke is. Be relentlessly helpful.
Mm.
And people will be drawn to you.
Yeah.
And if you're getting frustrated and hacked off, you're doing something you like, but you can't work out why it isn't working, try and bring your passion into it and mix the two. So I'm a lover of football, but I also love my profession, marketing. But if I was, marketing's okay, but I loved football,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be looking at trying to figure out a way where I could talk about football and then mix it with marketing. And
Yes.
that's kind of what I do with post-it marketing.
Yeah.
And you'll see something and I'll think, well, hang on, there's a coconut there. What can I say about this? It's not often that I hold a coconut. I was in Mexico at the time, nice little, diversion there from, I'm just looking out the window and it's raining. But yeah, there was a coconut and I'm like, there's a really good analogy there, or metaphor, or whatever we're going to call them, for saying that stay true to what's in this core. Show them the coconut milk. Don't show them the green, boring outside bit. It's the bit inside that people want to see. So get to that and show them that.
I love that. Oh my gosh. On my show notes, I do like top quotes. I mean, that is right up there. And it's really funny because I've just posted a LinkedIn post earlier this week where I started off holding a plastic pineapple, a 1950s ice bucket. So it's funny that
Nice.
we're talking about pineapples and coconuts. But you see, that's how this all works.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said about football, so for me, for instance, it would be acting. And for the first, I mean, that's my professional background. So for the first 3 years of setting up a communication coaching business, I made the mistake actually of listening to advice which kind of said, oh God, don't tell everybody you're an actor. I thought, oh, okay, all right, I'm just a coach. And I thought, but this is ridiculous because everything I've done for 20, 30 years is what feeds into what I can do now. And people now are coming to me. And somebody said to me the other day, I came to you because you walk the walk. You're not just talking about it. Because I now do bring in the analogies, all the things that are relevant from the acting world, not just the obvious presentation stuff. I don't mean that. I mean just all the mindset stuff and the processes that go on. And the point is, and this is what you're saying, is that you then enjoy it. And unless you've got that passion, you are freaking well not going to be up at 2:00 in the morning and 6:00 in the morning and all the rest of it that it takes to grow a business. So if you find yourself getting bored, please remember what it is that sets you alight. And like you so rightly said, connect it.
And if you're enjoying what you're doing,
Yeah.
if you're creating content that you enjoy creating or you find interesting, then others will too. You're and those are the people that you want as your core audience.
I love this. Well, I knew we could go on forever. We've made references to other people. We've made references to all the places they can go and find you. We've made references to coconuts and Liverpool, and it's rich. And have I missed anything out that you wanted to mention? Oh,
Probably
look
loads
at
of
that
things.
dramatic. I liked that pause.
Dramatic
I
pause.
I always tell people actually a pause is a really good way of getting attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true, isn't it?
Okay. Let's do some more dramatic pauses, and I'll build into
Mm-hmm.
why I think marketing qualifications are important, because that's kind of at the heart of what I do. Okay. So you have a gas leak, or you're looking to install a gas cooker. Who do you call to do that?
You call a gas engineer specialist. What are they called?
Yeah, that's pretty right. An engineer, gas engineer, that'll do.
Thank you. Yeah.
So would you call any gas engineer?
No, they'd have to be like all that kind of corgi registered and trusted trader and everything else. I'd really
Excellent.
have to trust them.
Cool. So you've got toothache.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go?
A dentist.
Would you let that dentist touch you if they hadn't studied mouths and teeth?
No.
Okay. But we go through life, and this happens at big companies, small companies, and everywhere in between, where you have departments in marketing and people in marketing that have not got professional qualifications and are not really qualified to be a proponent of marketing. And I find it bizarre, like craziness, simply because I'm not saying you need a qualification, marketing qualification, to do what we do as marketers. Mm-hmm. But you at least need to know the fundamentals. You at least need a background to understand the foundations that you build upon. And what we've talked about today, the content and the comms, is kind of the top of this iceberg. If you have those foundations, so if you understand your company, you understand your target market, you understand your competitors, you understand where you want to go, and you understand all the tactics to get you there and what you want to achieve, the comms and the content, it almost writes itself, because you've worked out people's problems, you've worked out how you provide the solution, you've worked out your strengths and your opportunities and where your weaknesses and threats lie. And they, in turn, create your strategy. And without marketing, we are nothing. We are absolutely nothing, because marketing pushes sales. Yeah. Sales is the final touch point, if you like, of a good marketing process.
Yeah.
And for those people that are sat there thinking, well, I don't really know what marketing is. Well, first of all, come and see me. But secondly, this is how important marketing is. Okay. Do you have any perfume?
Weirdly, oh God. I use Body Shop massage oil as my perfume. There we go. But I do use that. Yeah.
Too much information.
No, it's way too much information. But the podcast is called Make It Real, so I couldn't lie. So there we go. That's it.
Okay, so for 99.9% of the population that do have perfume, okay, what draws people to the perfume? For example, okay, Chanel have got a perfume. David Beckham's got a perfume, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. David Beckham's not known for his smell.
No.
Chanel are not known for their smell. They're known for handbags.
Yeah.
But it's their brand, and because you know, like, and trust their brand, that you walk into a perfume shop and pick those bottles up.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, and that is the importance of good marketing.
Yeah.
The fact that you can take somebody, i.e. David Beckham, or, I mean, even Little Mix, for Christ's sake, have got perfume.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not targeting me. They know their audience, and they are on brand, bright colours, the bottle's probably in some snazzy shape, simply because they know their target market, and that's what they want, and that's how they're going to stand out to their target market. And that's how important marketing is. It should be. Every company needs to be marketing orientated. And
I tell you what, if the listeners don't feel the passion in your voice in that, then they need to go and see a hearing specialist. But I honestly, and I think, I mean, I would say the same about communication, of course. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'd say, it's everything. It's everything. And like marketing, it has so many layers, and there's so much you can do with it that people don't realize. And so stay curious, as I said earlier on. And this has been an absolutely brilliant chat. And I'm worried about my perfume now. I think it's fine.
I wouldn't be worried about your perfume. You haven't got any.
No, do you know what I can do? I can come up with a brand, which is basically, it's an orange and black bottle, brand colours, but it's empty because my brand is make it real. And obviously, if you splash too much perfume all over you, you're not being real, are you? So I'm sorry, just made a note of that. Right. Okay. Anyway, moving on, Peter, who now thinks I'm completely nuts, and we've only really just met. Is there anywhere, where do we direct people to?
So the best place to get my attention is LinkedIn. Love the platform. It's very misunderstood, but it's growing and developing all the time. It's the best platform in the world.
I agree.
It's got its little intricacies. And a couple of years ago, somebody once told me it's like having a annoying stepbrother. You love him, but God, it does your head in sometimes. And that's what LinkedIn does. But it's brilliant. I've met so many fascinating people on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So get me on there. Just
Peter Sumpton.
Yeah, Peter Sumpton. The easiest surname in the world to spell.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed some of the different spellings and pronunciations of that name that I've got. Yeah. But if people want to check me out, marketingstudylab.co.uk or email me directly at peter@marketingstudylab.co.uk. I'm also on the Twitter and the Instagram and all that, but they're secondary to
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much, Peter. Loved it. I'm now so hot. It's ridiculous because I'm sorry to have to say this because you are very up north. But down here, it's about 25 degrees and blue sky.
I think it's 15 here and raining.
But you know what? I quite like it. I'm quite looking forward to it now. I've gone a bit weird about summer. Fabulous. We will continue our conversations and, you might come back again when I'm on my 83rd episode.
Cool.
Okay. Bye-bye for now, Peter.
Cheers.
Bye.
Pleasure. Bye. So I suppose there's no takeaways this week because that interview was of me. Bit weird, this. Anyway, if you want to get in touch with Trisha, go to her website, trishalewis.com. Quite easy to remember. Or if you want to email her directly, the address is hello@trishalewis.com. Again, that can be found on the website. Final thing from me, have a fabuloso festive period. Is fabuloso a word? Anyway, have an amazing Christmas, and we'll see you next week for a Best of 2019 Marketing Study Lab episode. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for joining us today on Marketing Study Lab. It really means the world that you're listening to this out there. And hopefully I've provided you some value. If you're looking to know more about what Marketing Study Lab does and is about, go to marketingstudylab.co.uk or get in touch with me personally, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or feel free to email me at peter@marketingstudylab.co.uk. Happy marketing.